How are you doing, math learners? This is your free access math teacher Ash, and welcome to ML with Sir Ash. Today, we're going to discuss the slope of a line. This is a part of the discussion on linear equations into variables. So before anything else, hit that subscribe button and notification bell for you to be updated of the School Clear Math videos just like this. Hello math learners! Welcome to another session here in Math Learning with Sir Ash. Today, we're going to discuss the most essential learning competency-based lesson for Quarter 1, Week 5 of the Grade 8 Mathematics, which is all about the slope of a line. This topic is under the discussion on linear equations into variables. Now, what are the objectives of today's lesson? First is how to describe and illustrate the slope of a line. Second, how do we solve the slope of a line? And third is to determine the slope of a line given 2 points, equation, and graph. So, let's start. The slope of a line is basically the steepness of a line. Meaning, if we consider mountains, we can see that some mountains are very steep and some mountains are not so steep. Technically, this steepness is what we call slope. Now, in linear equations in two variables, remember that the term itself is linear equations, meaning we are dealing with lines. The reason is linear equation, when you graph it, you will form a line. In the rectangular coordinate system, you will find certain graphs for linear equation either by increasing, decreasing, undefined, and zero slope. Now, how do we get the value of a slope? Remember that the linear equation in two variables has the standard form ax plus by is equal to c. Now, I also told you on the previous videos that there are other forms of linear equations in two variables. And the second form is what we call the slope-intercept. This standard form can also be transformed in the slope-intercept, and that is y is equal to mx plus b, where your m is the slope and your b is the y-intercept. Your x and y are both the two variables in your linear equation. Now, let us try how do we solve for the value of its slope. Depending on the given, if we talk about 2 points, meaning that is an ordered pair, x and y, and another ordered pair, x and y, since there are two different ordered pairs, we can name that this first ordered pair is x sub 1 and y sub 1, while the other is the x sub 2 and y sub 2, which refers to this particular ordered pair and to another particular ordered pair. By using the two ordered pairs, you can get the value of your slope. That is, m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, in which these are the coordinates of your points. Now, remember also that the slope refers to the rise and run of a certain linear equation. So, the numerator, which emphasizes the y coordinates, that is the rise, meaning whether you rise or you fall. And your run, whether you run to the positive side or the negative side. Later on, I will teach you what are the meaning of this. Other definition of slope is that this is the change of the y coordinates divided by the x coordinates, or this is the ratio of the change in y over the change in x. So now, let us consider an example. What if you have a given which is 2 points? Okay, math learners, we have here an example, 2 points. Say that these 2 points are part of your line or part of the points of that linear equation. Question is, what is the slope of the linear equation? So, remember that these 2 points represent x and y. X and y. The first is x sub 1 and the second is the sub 2. Okay. So, what you will do in getting your slope is you just subtract y sub 2 to y sub 1. That is negative 4 minus 3. And then x sub 2 minus x sub 1. That is negative 2 minus 0. Now, if in any case, you started with here, subtracted to here, and then you follow with here, subtracted to here, it's just the same answer, my dear math learners. Okay? So, let us try. Negative 4 minus 3, the answer is negative 7. Negative 2 minus 0, that is negative 2. Since both are negative, this will become 7 over 2. And that will be the value of your slope, 7 over 2. Meaning that it will rise up 7 times and it will run on the positive side 2 times. Okay? Now, the question is, how do we apply this one? Okay. For you to understand this further, let's consider a Cartesian plane or the rectangular coordinate system. This is your y-axis and this is your x-axis. Okay. Now, let's say we have the first 0, 3. So, that is 0 for x. So, that is 0 for x. And 3 for y. 1, 2, 3. So, this is your point where 0, 3 is located. Now, it says here that you have 7, negative 2. So, what you will do here is you climb 7 steps from here. This is 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you run, since this is positive, you run to the right side. This is 1, 2. Okay? And this will be your point having this graph. Easy, right? Now, if you want to ask me, Sir Ash, where is the negative 2, negative 4? Basically, negative 2 is here, right? Negative 2, then negative 4. So, if you continue this line, technically, you will touch this one. Now, this may be very dirty for you, but I assure you that this is the concept of our slope. Now, let's consider another example. Okay, math learners, we have the second example here, 0, 2, and then 2, 1. Now, remember, these are x and y, x and y. As I've said earlier, you can either way start from here to here or here to here. Okay, so in solving, on the first example, we started from here, subtracted to here. Now, let's try, we start from here, then subtracted to here. So, this is 2 minus 1. That is 2 minus 1. And then, 0 minus 2. Remember, in getting your slope or in getting the difference of y and in the difference of x, remember that both y will be subtracted with each other and both x will be subtracted with each other. If you started from the left, same goes to your x. You also start from the left. If you started from the right, same goes for x. You start from the right. Okay? Are we clear with that? Okay, now let's continue. 2 minus 1, that is 1. 0 minus 2, that is negative 2. Therefore, our final answer for our slope is negative 1/2. So now, for you to understand this slope, this means that if you have a rectangular coordinate system and this is your origin, your first point is 0, 2. That is 0x and then positive 2y. So that is here. Okay. So let's consider there are certain points here. Okay. Now, I'm sure that this is just sketching. This is not the actual graph because when we say sketching, we are just finding the direction of the graph. Okay. So, we have our 0, 2. Then, we have 2, 1. That is positive 2 and positive 1. So, that is here. Okay. So, this is our first point. This is our second point. Now, what does this slope means? We have negative 1/2. Meaning that either of the two is negative. So, if we consider negative 1/2, negative 1 is our rise and our run is positive 2. Okay. So, when we rise, since it is negative, you fall. So, you go down 1. And then, since our run is positive 2, that means we will run to the right side, which is the positive x. So, 1, 2. So, you end up here. Now, if you continue the pattern, you fall 1, you run 2. You fall 1, you run 2. And if in here, of course, the opposite of that is 1 over negative 2, you go up 1, and then, since your negative 2 is negative, therefore you run to the left, that is 1, 2. And here it is. Okay, so as you can see, if you just line this up, this will form a, this will form a technical straight line. Now, the drawing is not very line-ish. It's because we are not using a grid line or an actual Cartesian plane. But I hope you get the idea of that. Okay? So, you all know how to get the slope if 2 points are given. Question is, if an equation is given, how do you get the slope? Okay, math learners, we have here an equation that is 2x plus 4y is equal to 8. Question is, how do we get the slope if this is the given? Remember that the standard form is ax plus by is equal to c. This is the one, alright? Now, for you to get the slope, you can transform your standard form into the slope-intercept form, which is y is equal to mx plus b. How do we do this? Technically, the idea is very simple. You will leave your y variable to the left side of the equation. Then, you just transpose everything on the right side. How do we do that? Here it is. 2x plus 4y is equal to 8. So, here is our y variable. So, therefore, this one will be transposed to the other. So, that is 4y is equal to negative 2x plus 8. Question is, Sir Ash, why did I put negative 2x here and not here? Not after the 8. Because we are forming mx plus b. Our mx or the term mx has the variable x. Therefore, we will write first the term with an x. And that is negative 2x. Okay? So, the positive 2 will become negative 2x. Now, we have a coefficient here of 4. Our y doesn't have a coefficient. It should have only y. So, what do we do is we divide the whole equation by 4. Okay? So, this will be cancelled. Y is equal to negative 2 over 4. That is negative 1/2 because 2 cannot be divided by 4, right? Okay, so we can just get the lowest term. So, negative 2 over 4, that is negative 1/2. Then, we copy the x. 8 divided by 4, that is positive 2. So, therefore, your slope here is negative 1/2. The question is, Sir Ash, how do we graph that one? Technically, you just make your Cartesian plane. And remember, the 2 here is what we call the y-intercept. What does the y-intercept mean? The y-intercept is the intersection of the graph to the y-axis. Okay, so this is your y-axis, right? So therefore, since that is positive 2, then that is here. Okay? Same as earlier. And we have our slope that is negative 1/2. Meaning, our rise is negative, so we will go down. Our run is positive, so we will go to the right side. So that is 1, go down, and run 2 sides. 2 to the right. Okay. Then go down again, 1, and run 2 places. So this is the one. So 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. So you have your points. And if you will try to make a line on that, that will be the graph of your linear equation. Now, be sure to use rulers in order for your graph to become linear. Easy, right? Now, let us go if the given is a graph. Okay, math learners, we have here an example of a graph. As you can see here, our graph is a horizontal line, meaning that it is parallel to our x-axis. Question is, how do we get the slope? Okay. Now, you have the 2 points here. You can apply the formula m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Or basically, you can just ask yourself, okay, by having this one, that is rise over run. Now, as you can see here, did it fall or rise? It didn't, right? So therefore, that is 0. Now, how about the run? How did it run from here? From here, it go here. Okay? So, it goes to the right. It means that that is positive. So, how many units is that? That is only 1 unit. So that is 1. So 0 over 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, the value of your slope is 0. And remember this, my dear math learners. If the value of your slope is 0, your graph is horizontal. If the value of your slope is undefined, meaning you have, let's say, 2 over 0, that is undefined, right? If your value is undefined, therefore, your graph is like this, vertical line. Why? Because you have a rise, but you don't have a run. But if you have a real number for the value of your slope that is positive, meaning like, let's say, 4, 2/3, 5 over 6, these are all positive numbers, meaning your graph is increasing. Okay? So this will be your linear equation looks like in the graph. But if it is negative, meaning less than 0, let's say -3, -1/2, -4 over 5, then your graph looks like this. It will start from the upper, then it goes down. Okay? So I hope you have an idea on how to get the slope of a line, given the 2 points, given the equation, and given the graph. Now, this is the time that I will challenge you whether you have understood our topic. And here it is. Okay, math learners, I hope you have learned a lot of things about the slope of a line. If you do have confusions or misunderstandings about our topics, do not hesitate to write your comments or your questions in our comment section below. This is still your free access math teacher Ash. And always remember, it is fun to learn mathematics if we are together learning. Thank you so much for your support, sharing, and subscription in our channel. That really means a lot. Take care, God bless, and always keep safe. Congratulations, math learners, for arriving to this part of the video. If you think that this video have helped you, click that like button. And if you think that this channel can change the way you see mathematics, do not forget to click that subscribe button and notification bell. Thank you.